Good afternoon, everybody. We'll give it another minute or two for folks to join. I still see folks are popping in here. All right, I'm still seeing folks popping into the meeting. I'm gonna give it till 3 minutes past the hour and then we'll get underway. All right, 3 minutes past 12 o'clock hour. We set aside an hour to do this. It's a lot of folks' lunch hour, so want to be mindful of that. Thanks again for joining us. This is the partner agency ex officio roundtables series that AMA has been putting on, which is an opportunity for our friends at the state or fellow partner agencies or organizations to give an update on the work that they're doing, and for us as members of the industry to be able to interact with them and ask some questions and so on and so forth. Again, I mentioned this is a lunch hour affair, and so we want to be mindful of the time that folks are spending here. So we have a number of maybe 8 or 9 folks on the list to present today. So I'm just going to call out your name and we'll give you about 5 minutes to give an update. That would give us, up to 45 minutes of presentations, leaving us some time for questions at the end. Folks can, of course, utilize the chat to get some questions in, but we'll leave the sort of on-camera answering and engagement with those questions till the end of all the presentations. So first on my list, I didn't notice Alicia Bishop joining, and I still don't see that.
I'm Emily Reynolds. I'm her Alaska Sea Grant State Fellow, and I'll be kind of representing her today. She sent me an agenda to go over, or some bullet points. So
okay, great. And
cool.
Nice to meet you, Emily. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Awesome. Yeah, so I just mostly here to give AOA updates, the aquaculture opportunity areas. Go ahead and Google that if no one's up to date, but I imagine everyone is. So we are in the process of reviewing the draft Alaska Atlas. It's over 700 pages right now. So this atlas incorporates over 80 spatial data layers, hundreds of maps, and it identifies 77 final AOA options across Southeast, South Central, and Kodiak. The report is simultaneously going through peer review and the Center for Independent Experts, and we are anticipating publication to be around early December. So just really quick here, the Atlas does not identify AOAs, but it is an important step to provide spatial mapping analysis, modeling, characterization that informs the AOA identification process. So the next step after the publication of the Atlas is starting the NEPA process and the development of a programmatic environmental impact statement, So AOAs don't become AOAs until after that NEPA process is complete. And NOAA will be hosting a series of workshops early next year to share the results of the Atlas and gather information on what's needed to develop an effective dashboard tool. So in other words, how do we take these 80 spatial layers and bring them to life in an interactive tool that helps both industry and managers in finding suitable locations for aquaculture? We're really taking the Atlas a step further. And then Alicia also wanted us to bring attention to some pending legislation. So the Supporting Equity for Aquaculture and Seafood, or SEAS Act, returns to Congress, bolsters research into methods of increasing survival rate and adaptability of shellfish, and establish a grant to develop new, more efficient technologies for the aquaculture industry. And it also expands federal crop insurance to cover aquaculture products. So look out for that. And then we have the Marine Aquaculture Research for America Act, expediting offshore aquaculture permitting, building workforce, and modernizing infrastructure. And then promoting American Competition in Aquaculture Research Act. This bill would allow aquaculture programs to include overhead costs such as rent, utilities, and admin expenses when applying for federal funding. Now, I don't know much about these at all, about these pending legislations, so please reach out to Alicia if you have comments. But yeah, that's all for AOAs.
Great, thanks for the update, Emily. And feel free to throw any links to relevant bills or what have you in the chat, and that goes for all the presenters. Next up, I've got Sea Grant on the list. I see we have we're blessed with both Missy and Ginny. Looks like Missy's got her mic all prepped to go. So Missy, floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Missy Good, I'm the Mariculture Specialist with Alaska Sea Grant. Give me 1 second. I prepared a couple of slides for us, not too many. There we go. Can you see that all right?
Sure can.
All right, so I'm giving this presentation on behalf of our team. I'm not going to go through them, but you guys probably know who they are. You can look briefly. I just wanted to talk about events that just happened, some that we have coming up here immediately, and some opportunities that are available to keep it nice and short. So a couple of weeks ago, we partnered with Greenwave to host a kelp hatchery workshop that was in Cordova. We had 22 participants, which included all of the active kelp nurseries across the state. Hugely successful workshop, lots of great networking. It really built upon our understanding of what nurseries look like across the state and how they are operating currently. Some really great things that are come out of this. Greenwave has been working on a kelp hatchery manual. We're going to step in and help with that publication, but it is being edited currently to really meet the Alaska needs. Also out of that came a kelp hatchery network, and we're already seeing a lot of communication between kelp hatchery operators and try to address early concerns and contamination issues jointly in real time. So super awesome, successful workshop. We have a knowledge exchange opportunity right now. Oh, sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I should be looking at my slides, not my screen. So the next opportunity coming up is the Oyster Farm Operations Workshop. That's going to be September 2nd through 4th. That workshop is currently full as it starts next week. It's going to be on Prince of Wales Island, and they're going to cover grow-out gear, FLUPSI operation and management, biofouling, oyster quality and handling, farm tracking and biosecurity, and I'm sure much more. A lot of interest in this workshop, so we are super happy to host it there. And then what I was saying a minute ago, we have our Farmer Knowledge Exchange program going on right now. We have this program, but I do want to highlight that last week we took a group of 6 different oyster operations personnel, farmers and hatchery operator, down to Puget Sound, where we just did a really amazing tour in partnership with Washington Sea Grant. You can see a couple pictures there, me with a big gooey duck, which was cool. So we saw some small scale oyster operations and some very large scale ones, and met with folks who are purchasing oysters, and hopefully, you know, got some few more people interested in buying oysters down in the lower 48 from Alaska. So very successful trip. But also building upon that, we have the Farmer Knowledge Exchange Grant Program. This is more of a self-driven program where either a farmer, a nursery hatchery operator, or a processor can apply through this program. It's $35 per farmer. You don't have to be the farmer, you could be the processor or the, you know, nursery hatchery operator. To go for 1 trip per calendar year. So far, we've approved 6 different projects. That's included 17 people, and we've heard nothing but great success from these programs. It's been highly valued. You do, as someone putting in a proposal, need to have a letter of support from where you're going to go visit, at least one spot that you're going to go visit. So you do have to be communicating with folks where your knowledge is coming from. And I put the link in there, but also QR code. I'll give you a second to scan it if you want to. But you can find more of that information on the AMRTC page or the Alaska Mariculture Cluster RFP page as well. And one of the things on the top of our head right now is the Mariculture Conference of Alaska. We are already deep into planning for that. That will be in Anchorage, March 10th through 12th. We have sent out the save the date. The abstract call is coming next week. And we have a deadline of October 3rd for abstracts to be submitted. So watch for that. And if you're wondering where to find that information at, you can always go to the alaskaseagrant.org website. But we are posting everything through the Alaska Mariculture Research and Training Center, so the conference stuff and much, much more on anything mariculture going on across the state. Sign up for our listserv through our website. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And some super fun things that we're putting out right now is a video series, the Salty Interview Sessions. Episode 1 is out. We have more on the way. And so, yeah, watch for that through AMRTC, and those are YouTube videos. I can answer questions if anybody has any. Otherwise, feel free to contact myself or anybody else on our team.
Great. Thanks for the update, Missy. Looking forward to the conference. And I've heard really great things about the hatchery, the kelp hatchery knowledge thing that happened in Cordova very recently. So props for all the work that everybody did on that one. Next up, we have Alex Huller with Alaska Fisheries Development Foundation.
Hello,
Alex.
everyone. I will, sort of start with an update of things that have passed in the past month, and then move forward into upcoming events and things to look out for. So we recently hosted a couple of the Build Back Better Joint Innovation Project meetups, and those recordings are on the AFDF YouTube channel. I am behind on updating them on our website, and they'll be up soon. And the interim reports for those projects will be up as well. I am currently going through to see if it's possible to open up a small 3rd round of the joint innovation projects. So stay tuned for that. This would be a much smaller cohort and likely addressing product development. I'll make sure to be open with that. I'm still assessing underspent funds, and we'll make sure to get the word out about all of that. So stay tuned. And an update, I'm going to share my screen quickly. We have the interactive tableau live from the 2024 seaweed tissue analysis. So this is an interactive tableau to be able to scroll through the data from last year's. Our current, thanks Dan, he has it up. I'll just share my screen as well. Our our current samples from this year they're at the labs and undergoing the analyses. So these are, from last year's that mainly focus on wild species, but it's pretty cool because you can go through here and actually see all of the species and comparisons across for minerals, carbohydrates, proteins, fat, and major and micronutrients. So we'll have this up on the AMC and AFDF websites, but we're really excited to finally have this available in a way that is easier to understand and compare than just a massive spreadsheet. So we'll have that up shortly, and ideally we'll be able to put something like this together for the 2025 data as well. And looking ahead, I'm working with AnchorBot. That's a robotic helical anchoring system startup, and they're going to be, Chris with AnchorBot is going to be traveling to Kodiak, Cordova, and Juneau next month. And they have funding for pilot projects for their robotic helical anchoring system to install on mariculture farms in Alaska. And we'll be holding community presentations in Kodiak and in Cordova in the middle of September. And I have yet to send out a save the date, but Nick is sort of the point person in Kodiak. Sean is the point person in Cordova. And then there will not be a community presentation in Juneau, but he will be going out with Johnny at Sequester Farms. So stay tuned. Chris will have a lot of information on the Anchor, on sort of what their offerings are currently, and is looking for more farmers to work with in the future, and ideally have a machine, an installation machine based up in Alaska for future use. So if this is something you're interested in, you can reach out to me and I can put you in touch with Chris. And then also looking ahead, I want to make sure that everyone has AFDF's annual Alaska Symphony of Seafood on their calendars. This is happening during One Ocean Week this year in Seattle on October 23rd, and we still have our call for product open, and this can include mariculture products, and we have a Beyond the Plate category as well. So if you have or know of anyone that has a market ready seafood product, I would love to see more mariculture entrants in this event. And having this during One Ocean Week, I am also working with Washington Maritime Blue to host a small roundtable to identify shared challenges and opportunities for synergy across the greater Pacific Northwest seaweed farming industry. And then we're also hosting a kelp corner within the broader maritime innovation and startup showcase. If I've sent out a lot of invites for this. If you've not received one and you're interested in participating in any of this, please reach out to me as well. And other than that, I'll just note that with the Mariculture Research and Restoration Consortium is gearing up for the third season, and we just had a meeting yesterday with all of the farmers coordinating sorai collection and hatchery period, and it's all feeling dialed. This is my first outplanting period with this team, as I just started last October, but everyone seems to be really dialed and know what they're doing, so that's exciting. And I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Great, thanks for the update, Alex. And Dan Lesh threw a link in the chat to the Tableau that Alex was sharing, in case folks would like to dive into that and look around. Looks fantastic. Next up on our list, Jordan Hollersmith from NOAA's Alaska Fisheries Science Center in Juneau.
That's right. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jason. So we've got some personnel updates in collaboration with Ginny at UAF. We've recently hired Spencer Lunda as our new hatchery manager. So a lot of you all knew Henry Fleener, so he's kind of replacing Henry Fleener's absence. So Spencer recently finished his PhD from Oregon State University, comes with a lot of ties to the industry down there, experience in hatchery contexts, and a lot of oyster disease experience, which is something we don't encounter that much here yet, but might be kind of up and coming issues. So I'd love to put you in touch with him. Spencer, if you're in the meeting, maybe you want to put your email in the chat, or I can do it at the end. But he's a resource for us all. I think he's in the hatchery right now. So I'll put that email in the chat. And we also have a new Sea Grant fellow who started with us, Leah Valdez. She recently finished her PhD on bee diseases from Cornell. So she's an entomologist, so new to the world of marine systems, but also with this strong disease background. So we might be dabbling in some of those questions coming up. Our other really exciting announcement is our experimental oyster hatchery is now functional. We have all the pieces in place to be able to really start spawning and rearing oyster larvae. So this is intended to be a really collaborative space. It's been years in the making at this point. So please reach out if you have any project ideas, want to talk collaborations. We're really excited for this space to be a resource for the whole industry, researchers, regulators. Some of the experiments we have had in that space so far have it was a busy summer looking at impacts of glacial silt on oysters. Short version is they seem pretty resilient to it, which is good news for all of our coastal Alaska farms in that silty water. And also looking at, so in collaboration with the UAF lab, looking at the impacts of Alexandrium and temperature exposure on oysters themselves. So stay tuned for results there. As Alex already mentioned, Mariculture, we're in the second full year of oyster sampling, working on analyses right now for energetic studies for oysters across the spill affected region. So again, don't have results to share right off the bat, but those will be upcoming. And we recently finished data collection on a project looking at habitat provisioning of kelp farms in the Juneau area. So we'll be switching to analysis mode on that as well. So lots of data for the winter, and hopefully in future meetings, we can present results for you. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll put my email in the chat as well. And I think that's it.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. Congrats on LAD, and welcome to Spencer and Leah.
Sorry, Jason, one more thing. I'm starting maternity leave any day now. So Becca is going to be the acting mariculture research lead in the meantime. So I'm likely going to be out of office September to January. And that's
and congratulations to you forthcoming. So yeah, best of luck on that. Next from Alaska Department of Fish and Game, Michelle Morris. Welcome.
Hi. I feel like I spent a lot of time talking to all of you the last week. I don't have a lot here. We're working on our review of the AOA ginormous document. We also did manage to hire our new position to help us out here in the aquaculture section. So we've got Heather Fulton Bennett from Little Port Walters be joining us here at the end of September. So hopefully we'll be bringing her on board. And I think eventually the plan is to have her help out with Lorna for the PNP hatcheries and for invertebrate fisheries enhancements. Lorna Wilson's also here on lines, and she is dealing with the start of the invertebrate fisheries enhancement projects. And then we've got working with DNR and trying to get through all the 2025 applications. A lot of little things that need to be corrected in the applications, but nothing super major. I think most of them were in pretty good shape this year. So that's nice to see the quality of the applications improving over time. And then also trying to also close out long-standing open applications. The queue was super long. A lot of leases were offered. However, people didn't pick them up or chose to, they weren't interested anymore. So while our application list was long, people are no longer interested. And so we've been closing out some of those older applications. So that'll bring down our pending queue number. Other than that, I think we all know about the governor's administrative order. So that's being handled by Flip Pryor, our aquaculture section chief, and trying to navigate all the questions that are coming through from the governor's directive and the independent contractor that's trying to figure out how much time we spend on permitting.
Great. Thanks for the update, Michelle, as always. Appreciate that. Chugging right along, trying to keep an eye on time here, make sure we've got space at the end in case folks have questions from the Alaska Blue Economy Center. Maybe joining us from Fairbanks, maybe Cordova, Tommy Sheridan. Hi, Tommy.
Hello, joining you from rainy Cordova today. So hi, everyone. I know most people online here, but I'm Tommy Sheridan. I'm the director for the Alaska Blue Economy Center, which is housed at University of Alaska Fairbanks, but I live in Cordova. ABEC is charged with really connecting university capacities, primarily at UAF, with community and industry problems. Mariculture has been a space that we've worked in. Some updates from us. ABEC has transitioned from the Office of the Vice Chancellor of Research into the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences at UAF. And so I'll be reporting to the Dean's Office and CFOS from here on out. And we have some mariculture funding left. So we'll be looking to really wrap up some of the work that we've been doing and then leverage that to support some of the other initiatives that we're involved with. I'll provide links in the chat, but a few projects that we're involved with and have been pretty involved with in recent months, including the National Science Foundation EPSCoR Alaska Interface of Change project. And so that's a project that definitely has interest and overlap with mariculture, with a focus in a handful of very specific communities and surrounding regions, including Haines, Klukwan, Juneau, Sitka, Northern Southeast Alaska, Cordova, Valdez, Prince William Sound, Philadelphia, and Homer, and Lower Cook Inlet. And so there's a variety of applied research projects that this project is funding in those communities and in those regions. Something that we're involved with are some buckets related to innovation and entrepreneurship. And so we started off in Cordova, and there was a real interest in regenerative tourism. So I'll provide a hyperlink there about some of the work that we supported this past spring. We're also involved with really supporting some K through 12 education programs, including Science Olympiad, which is junior high students, and Teaching Through Technology, which is high school. And so we've worked with those programs to integrate mariculture into their operations. Another grant that I'll share that I also think has relevance to and potential benefit for folks on this call includes an initiative. The acronym is RISE UP, and so that is Resilient, Innovative, Sustainable Economies Through University Partnerships. A lot of us on here love our acronyms. This is a partnership between University of Rhode Island, University of Alaska Fairbanks, and University of Hawaii. And there's all kinds of cool stuff going on through that project. There was a knowledge exchange visit, bringing some faculty fellows and others to May to Rhode Island. And I was on that trip. Whole lot of overlapping interests in the mariculture space between Alaska and Rhode Island. We brought those same folks to Cordova just the other week. So missed the hatchery workshop here, but was back in town the next week for that visit. I guess what I would say is that I wasn't in Cordova for the hatchery workshop, in part because I was presenting at the American Fisheries Society conference in San Antonio. That's their large nationwide annual meeting. And I was presenting on some workforce development activities that we've supported and funded and participated in, some good stuff happening in the K through 12 space, including Science Olympiad and T3, and then some programs that we've worked with and supported, including Prince William Sound College and UAS Sitka's Applied Fisheries Program. So just presented on some of the good work that was happening there, and I'm glad to be back in Cordova. So that's a little update on what we've been up to. I'll provide some hyperlinks in my email in the chat. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks a lot, Tommy. Look forward to checking out those links. Next up from Southeast Conference, Charlie Harrington. Floor is yours.
All right. I'm going to pass the baton to Dan when I'm done with my updates, but I'll start with, we are speeding along with the Alaska Mariculture Cluster Marketing Program, which is a collaborative effort with AMA. I missed the first 8 minutes of the meeting. I'm not sure if Jason, you've mentioned anything about this. Okay. But after my remarks, I'll put some links in the chat like Tommy, and there's a presentation shared at the July governance body meeting, some great slides that sort of overview the program. To start with, we're doing a familiarization event in Homer, and also exciting part of that is a welcome reception in Anchorage, where oysters and some kelp products from all over the state will be flown to Anchorage for a 30-person dinner attended by chefs, distributors, and a whole group of people and influencers and media to, you know, have experienced the whole suite of Alaska Merroir and oysters. So that'll be a good event. Then they go on down to Homer for a couple days. The other sort of ongoing scope with that is through Rising Tide Communications, who is the same contractor that did the communications plan for AMA. And they are working on a brand identity package that will support the marketing program. We also have a aquatic farm survey, and Michelle sent out an email to permit holders earlier in the week about that. It'll also be included in the AMC newsletter. Survey runs through September 19th, and we're just looking for, it's a voluntary survey. We're looking for numbers and data about aquatic farms, seaweed and shellfish, or seaweed and oysters. And also there's a kelp hatchery survey as well, just trying to fill in some data for this time of year to complement what comes later in the spring from Fish and Game. The revolving loan fund is approved from the EDA. I'm sure you guys have heard that update. We're waiting on some additional lending agreements to be finalized. And as soon as those are done, AMA has graciously offered to host a webinar for folks to learn more about the revolving loan fund program and to ask us questions. We expect that to be sometime in October. And another webinar that AMA will host for us will feature EcoTrust, which is Southeast Conference's grant evaluation contractor. So NOAA, NLO, and his team will attend there. If you attended the governance body meeting, you saw a 10-minute or so presentation from NOAA about ongoing grant work so far, where money is being funded, how, to what types of organizations, what regions, and we just want to be as transparent as possible to show what we're doing with the grant. So that webinar will be a good opportunity for folks to learn more and ask questions. And the last update I have before passing it to Dan is we have 2 staff coming online September 8th. Darren Kelly will be a mariculture program specialist working primarily on the equipment program. And Abigail Baumgartner will be our fellow through the Alaska Fellows Program. And if you met Stefan, who is working with us since this spring, he was our original fellow through the Alaska Fellows Program. And now he's a full-time employee of Southeast Conference working on mariculture. And we're equally excited about Abigail, and we think she's going to bring a lot to the table, and Darren. So exciting times ahead.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, just to piggyback on that, we also on the RFP front recently closed carbon sequestration RFP. We received 11 proposals asking for 1.9 million. We like to see that kind of thing. Real robust response. We're working on scoring committee has met. We're working on narrowing and selecting the 2 to 3 projects that will fund in the neighborhood of $400,000, which is what we have available right now. But I think some really exciting projects. We also closed a hands-on farm training RFP to add workforce development capacity and projects around the state. We had 5 proposals come in, and we're scoring those soon and excited about them. And we'll be ensuring that they're coordinated with all the other existing workforce development activities going on around the state. the equipment round 3 RFP is currently open, closes in October, and we're excited, encouraging folks to apply to that are EDA eligible to receive equipment, and get your applications going now because it's due October 13th. I don't think it's been mentioned, but just to remind everybody that the Mariculture Conference of Alaska is scheduled March 11th, 12th in Anchorage next spring. This is largely funded by the AMC grant to help coordinate all the different things that we're learning and make sure we're sharing with each other and stuff. So the Southeast Conference's annual meeting in Sitka is September 16th through 18th. There'll also be a mariculture panel there, and especially if you're Southeast based, encourage folks to come join that. And we'll be holding our next governing body meeting in. We're planning. Current plan is to hold it in Seattle alongside not as part of One Ocean Week, but in Seattle at the same time so that folks on the governing body can also attend those events. So that specific date is
22nd.
22nd
October 22nd.
And it's kind of I think might be our only non-Anchorage governing body meeting, but real important constituencies down there as we try to continue to drive more participation in Alaska mariculture, especially more investment. I think that that's as we look to the sustainability of all of our projects long term, where we need more private businesses investing in the state and putting into action all this information, all these things we've learned. But yeah, just excited. We're working on all these different bodies of work and other mariculture species, the kelp seed quality projects we funded, like that workshop in Cordova. Excited to see that. There's a bunch of good progress on the kelp biostimulant field trials and product development work that we've funded. Can go on, but I just wanted to give a couple little tidbits. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Phyllis. Next on our list for today, James Crimp with Alaska Sea Grants, focusing on shellfish.
Oh, hey, Jason. We decided just to collaborate on an update, so Missy got us covered.
Perfect. Thank you. And then I did see Jared Yelton, our new fellow over at DNR, join. I don't know if you were on the list as connected to present, but Jared, if you have anything to share or say, or you want to introduce yourself to the group, please feel free.
Yeah, hi, oh, sorry, here, let me see if I can. Sorry about that. My name is Jared Yelton. If you haven't seen me, I have been jumping in since Kate Default is now on maternity leave. New to the aquatic farm here for DNR, but we're working through a bunch of the new applications, like Michelle said. It's been great to have Michelle. She's a wealth of knowledge, been learning a lot. We're plugging away, nothing new to add, but yeah, if you have any questions, and I would love to try to answer them or find the answer for you. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jared. And Jared, are you based out of Anchorage or are you remote?
I am based out of Anchorage. Yep.
Great. I'll try to connect with you in person sometime soon. And then I did notice we also are joined by Thomas Ferrugia. I wasn't sure if you had anything to share today, Thomas, but I'd like to give you the opportunity if you do.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. No, nothing much to share. I just haven't been able to make these the last couple of times, but as always, Alaska Ocean Observing System, we're available to help. We host the Mariculture map for those that don't know, the Mariculture mapping tool. And then I also am the coordinator of the Alaska Harmful Algal Bloom Network. So always happy to help on any harmful algal bloom, Alexandrium related topics. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Thomas. That gets through everybody that I had on my list or that I had seen. Go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, I just a tidbit on the harmful algal bloom topic. If folks are interested, we we approved a little ship with the DEC contract where we've procured some large new PSP equipment for them, and they were working on validating methods for PSP testing, paralytic shellfish testing. They've shifted temporarily to validating methods, which are a little bit easier to validate for diuretic shellfish toxin testing, which is an emerging issue of concern, not yet seen on farms, but it's seen enough around that there's concern about it. So they're using these new fancy pieces of equipment, $800,000 piece of equipment, we're excited that we're part of a solution to an emerging issue with DST toxins. And then they'll return back to the PSP method validation for the new equipment. I'm not the one for further questions per se, but there you go.
Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that, Dan. Yeah, so I just jumped right into it and got to our partners. I did want to say that seeing that there is a little bit of time, very briefly, a couple things from AMA's perspective. We are very pleased to share, and some of you have met our new staff, but we have both a new Sea Grant Fellow and a new communications manager. So I see Emma has come off, or camera is on. Emma Luck is our Sea Grant Fellow. Emma, if you just want to say a couple words hi to the group, you're more than welcome to.
Hi, yeah, it's nice to see you all here. Some of you I've already connected with and others I haven't gotten a chance to yet. So like Jason said, my name is Emma. I am the new 2025 Alaska Sea Grant State Fellow for AMA. I have an interest in marine policy. I just got my master's degree in marine policy from UAF. So I'm excited to get to know all of you better and get to work on some of these important mariculture topics.
Thanks, Emma. And Molly, right, we're glad to have Molly on board as our communications manager. And Molly, you can say a few words.
Thanks. I'm Molly Dishner. Like Jason said, I'm the new communications manager for AMA. Among the different things I'll be doing includes taking over these webinar roundtable organizing from Jenna. So I'll be the person you'll be hearing from future months, but we are hoping to get them going again. Also looking forward to getting a newsletter out pretty soon and kind of increasing some of our social media presence among lots of different initiatives. So stay tuned for more from us and looking forward to meet everyone I haven't already connected with.
Thanks, Molly. And adding on to what Molly just said about the webinars, yes, we are hoping to get back to regularity with the series. We, in the past, were shooting for every other month for a webinar and then the opposing months doing the roundtable. But we're happy to fit in webinars if there's relevant topics and we could put on 3 a month that would be worthwhile for folks to hear and learn about and interact with. We are more than happy to do that. It's a great role for AMA. And for folks that are presenting on this on behalf of their organizations or the state or what have you, if there are larger topics that are bigger than the 5 minutes allotted for an update here that you'd like to be able to present and have some Q&A with, again, please do reach out. We're happy to host a webinar for any topic related to mariculture. So with that, I want to open the floor for questions folks might have for any of our presenters. Throw it in the chat, or you can pull yourself off mute, and I'd be happy to give you the floor. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. Oh, here we are. Hey, Sam, how are you?
Hey, sorry, I can't be on video right now. I am in transit, so also apologize for background noise. But I actually wanted to jump in and tell everyone about something that Greenwave is going to be launching next month. So you guys hear about it first. Is that all right?
Please.
Awesome. So our market development team, largely led by my colleague Grace, we've been working on a brand new program to try to get new buyers into the space. And we have launched, or we will be launching, a program called the Kelp Innovation Collab. I just dropped a link into the chat. So this is a program that's going to be recruiting 5 to 10 kind of emerging disruptive beauty brands to work with kelp-based ingredients that have been developed by macro oceans using Alaskan kelp. And so we are, the applications are actually opening. We are open already. We just soft launched it this week, but the big splashy media stuff will be going out September 8th. So wanted to give you guys a heads up that that's coming. We will be bringing the cohort members once they're selected on a farm tour in Alaska in April. Very much TBD what that trip looks like. But that is what's happening, and happy to answer any questions on it.
Love it. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Sam.
So Sam, it's not relevant for processors in Alaska that want to produce beauty products. It's more targeted to buyers who want to work with ingredients that Macro-Ocean's producing. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that's correct. So the sort of theory of change here is that there are existing beauty brands out there that want to work with kelp-based ingredients, but haven't been able to do so because it's not in the right formats or whatever. And Macro-Oceans has some of those ingredients, but they have felt that there is a sort of a disconnect because of the risk involved with these companies trying new ingredients. And so we're trying to sort of de-risk this for actually those end brands that are going to be using the kelp-based ingredients, with the idea that Macro-Oceans is already very well positioned and has been working with Alaskan farmers for years now, and is investing in processing and all of that. So we're trying to really connect the dots all the way down the value chain here.
Great, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Leaving some space for questions. All right, then I say we call it. Thank you to all the presenters. Thank you everybody for joining. And again, please reach out to us if you would like to present on any topic or have ideas on how we can help make these types of things a bit more effective and useful for you all. So thank you again, everybody, for joining. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be seeing a whole bunch of you, I'm sure, pretty soon. So cheers.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jason, and everybody else.
Thanks, everybody.